How do you build innovative organization? Now we come to the real essence of what we are talking about. This is one of the ideas for which I won this award. Success has two dimensions. One is wisdom, knowing what to do next, and skills is being able to do it. Now in simple terms, think of a cricketer. A bowler gets the ball, and he has to decide whether to bowl in swinger, out swinger, off break, leg break, or what, or around the wicket or over the wicket. If instead he bowls all over the wicket, it's not going to work, right? He had the wisdom to decide what to bowl, but didn't have the skill to do it. This is true in sports, in anything you do. As the world is changing faster and faster, wisdom is increasingly important. And that's not easy. No amount of mathematical modeling will tell you what's going to happen to the economy next week, next month. This is where you tap into the subconscious mind and get innovative ideas. So if people who have very good wisdom and very good skills, those are the champions. There are not many in the world. Now, there are some people who have the wisdom but little bit low on skills. These are innovators. They are not good in following the rules, but they are very good in in knowing what to do next. Then you have the other people here, very good in skills, but not too good in working out what to do. So to summarize it, you have adapters, they consolidate the present. They have strong skills, but not much wisdom. They produce incremental change. Then you have innovators who create the future. These are the guys who are not good in these following the rules. They do transformational change. Which group is more important? They are both equally important. While you are creating the future, you need to make sure that your organization survives. So they both have a very important role to play. So you have to ask yourself, am I an adapter? Am I an innovator? And that's fine. But if you're really ambitious, you will want to be good in both. So what nurtures creativity? Be willing to accept possible failure. Because creativity means you're out of your comfort zone, you're taking risks, and the whole thing might not work. So you need a getting better mindset, not a be good mindset. And that's difficult for us. Because we are so used to being praised for success, you don't want to risk that self-image you have by trying out something new, which might lead to failure. Use relaxed concentration. This is very important. You can't be tense and be creative. You got to have fun. Multitasking. Our brains are not designed for multitasking. So if you want to be creative, focus on one thing. Because if you focus on two different things, you can't be creative in either, because you're operating in the beta state. What else? Mix serious work with creative activities. We have a serious problem doing that. We are serious managers, right? So if I tell you to get up and dance, you would say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's what blocks creativity. Take Google. In 19 years, Google became the #1 brand in the world. They do all these crazy things. That's why in 19 years, they became the #1 brand in the world. Because they understand how this thing works. And another thing, your brain cannot work for more than 1 hour. After 1 hour, your brain needs a break. So after 1 hour, you need to get up, do some things. Sitting at the desk and doing Facebook does not count. You have to get up from the desk, move around and do things. And now you are creative again. You need to let these ideas incubate. If you are thinking about it all the time, it doesn't work. So how I create new ideas, I do my homework, I read up all the literature, then I just forget it. I go to the movies, I go to a concert. The next day, your subconscious mind has worked on it and gives you these ideas. That's the way creativity works. You can't force it out of your mind. You have to let it happen. And other thing, brainstorming does not work because you cannot think in a group. Thinking has to happen individually. Then you can share your ideas in a group. So this whole idea of brainstorming does not work because it doesn't produce results. Harness emotion. Emotion is the driver. Positive and negative are both good. So if you are emotional about something, you have the fuel to look for something new. And here's the beautiful thing. There's a thing called thin slicing. In my workshops, I give people 1 hour to reinvent their company. and they come up with the most amazing ideas. If I give them 1 day, they wouldn't even get started, because now they make it into something big. Thin slicing is the amazing power our brain has to process complex information and come up with new ideas in a very short time. If you are interested, read Malcolm Gladwell's Blink. By the way, Malcolm Gladwell's books are very important for managers. His books like Blink, his books like Outliers, very interesting because he looks at it from a totally different point of view. So thin slicing is the key to creativity. If you give people a lot of time to create something, they get totally messed up with it. So the toolbox, I produced the toolbox, and I wrote a book called The Flying Penguin, which was published in Singapore, where I put this whole thing together. Now, why did I call it Flying Penguin? Because I didn't want to write a book with a boring title like How to Succeed in Life. And my subconscious mind told me, hey, here's a great idea. Penguins, under life-threatening circumstances, shoot out of the water 5 or 6 feet to land on the ice. We do the same thing under life-threatening circumstances. But we can do this all the time once you unleash the power of the subconscious mind. So, what nurtures innovation? Create an innovative corporate culture. The worst thing you should do is to appoint a chief innovation officer. That kills innovation completely. Because innovation is something we all have to contribute to. Right? So if you have a chief innovation officer, demote that person immediately. Because the moment you do that, everybody says, oh, it's not my job, it's his job or her job. So these are some of the fundamental flaws that we make. Find a right problem. Very often you are solving the wrong problem. This is very typical of organization. They are solving the wrong problem. And use necessity as the mother of innovation. So if you feel that your market share is dropping, that's great. If you win every game, your game will never improve. So losing a major customer is fantastic. Now you've been kicked out of your comfort zone. That's when you become creative. Imagine the desired outcome. So you want to, I did this for Domino's Pizza. I just trained the entire workforce of Domino's Pizza. I just told them, explained to them how to unleash the genius that was sleeping inside them. And they are going to double their revenue, monthly revenue from June. I didn't tell them how to do it. They worked out how to do it. This is what creativity is about. You energize and empower them, and then they come to that remember that 98% genius level? That's where creativity is. All you need to do is to remove the roadblocks. Don't depend on data. When Sir Richard Branson started Virgin Atlantic, Britain's leading marketing magazine said only 10% of Brits would ever fly an airline called Virgin. Completely wrong. Now, Virgin Atlantic is the preferred airline between the UK and the US. So you can't use research to be creative. It'll give you completely the wrong information. Constant acquisition of relevant knowledge. This is important. You have to start reading, not management books. Start reading things like Michael Gladwell. Read things like Dune. Read like Lord of the Rings. Watch programs like Ben 10. This is very serious management stuff, because it helps you to get into that relaxed state of mind. I love this and I do it all the time. I love cartoons. Use only what you have. This is frugal innovation. Don't give them money. The worst thing you can do is to find a group of people and give them the R&D budget. Don't do that. Give them nothing. Then they'll come up with, just like the carrot clarinet, they'll come up with amazing ideas to create new things using the limited resources they have. That's what frugal innovation is all about. And change the game, disruptive innovation. You are lucky if you can find one. This is much more difficult. Like, for example, when the smartphones we use, now they don't have a keyboard, right? That's disruptive innovation. So companies that were making phones with keyboards are now almost out of business, except for people like me, because I hate smartphones. I like phones that are stupid. They do what I tell them to do. Now, say you have a great idea. How do you decide? This is a brilliant idea, it's very innovative. I'll give you a 5-dimensional framework. 1, does it increase the competitive advantage for your company? Does it add to your USP, the unique selling proposition, in any organization? Is it aligned with the direction in which your business is going, current and future? Is there value, stakeholder value, greater profit, greater benefits for the public in the long term? Customer value. Are you delivering something that your customers want but they are not getting? And execution. Can it be done using the resources you have? It's a very simple 5-dimensional framework to see whether an idea will produce innovation. If you don't follow this, you can spend a lot of time doing the wrong thing. So now we come back to the fundamental question, how innovative are our managers? This is what we started with. And here's my answer. How creative are our managers? They were born with limitless power. As children, they scored 98% in divergent thinking. What limits them are the self-imposed limits, basically based on childhood experiences. What happened when you were young? Get rid of the limitations and you have limitless creativity. This is what I worked out after my 60th year. I wish somebody told this to me before. That's how in my 70th year I won this award, Asia Pacific Award. Because I suddenly realized it doesn't matter. I have not studied HR. I have these ideas. So I developed the ideas and that's how I won the award. So remember, you're not limited by your education, experience, your social background has nothing to do with it. Because you scored 98% as a kindergarten child in divergent thinking. Finding creative people. You talk to any head of HR, oh my God, I can't find creative people. Are we looking in the right place? You're standing on a bunch of ladders and you're trying to look over the wall to see what's on the other side. All the employees you have all scored 98% in divergent thinking. All you need to do is to unleash that. So I did a pilot project at Taj Samudra. In November 2013, when Taj Samudra reopened after a major refurbishment program, the hotel looked fantastic. But the employees were totally demotivated. Why? They had to do the refurbishment in 6 months while the guests were still there. So I knew Rohit Khosla, who was the country manager, and I had a chat with him. I said, listen Rohit, give your team to me. I'll transform them. And he agreed. So what did I do? I trained 600 employees at all levels, identical training. As a result of that, they measured the guest satisfaction using what they call GSTS, went up by 40% in 5 months. Unheard of in the worldwide Taj group. Nobody has ever done that. What did I do? I had in the same training program all these people. Now, they didn't achieve this by giving champagne and caviar with the standard lunch. That's not frugal innovation. The same product, every person in this organization contribute to this innovation. So that is real innovation. It's a state of mind. It's a way of looking at your business. Energizing and empowering everybody in your organization to contribute to business success. That is the real root of innovation. Not saying, Friday 3 o'clock we are going to be innovative. So put on your innovation cap and come. It doesn't work like that. It has to be an ongoing thing. You have to create the mindset. Help these people. Ask them to have fun. If anybody is working after 5 o'clock in your office, get them out of the office and say, go to a movie. Have some fun. Because that's how they unleash their creativity. So, in closing, there's a wonderful quotation. The teacher who is wise does not bid you to enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your mind. That's what I have done. I haven't taught you how to be creative. Nobody can ever teach you that. In my coaching and in my workshops, all I do is remove the mental blocks to help people find that 98% genius that they were born with. I wish you all the best. Thank you.